Welcome back again, and today we will be discussing testing students. As previously stated, you need to test students. You need to test them to see if they actually achieved your goals. To do this, you need to test at least twice during a term. Some schools, like Korea, don't want you to test students because if their children fail, they think they are wasting their money. Tests are to see if the students are actually learning and will give you an idea as to what needs to be taught or reviewed. There are several types of tests you can administer to a student. They are based on the level of ability the teacher thinks the student's level should be. Let's examine a few tests. Multiple choice tests, where the student has to decide from a group of answers which one is the best. The word pleasant means A. A bird, B. Niece, C. A lot. This test is good for vocabulary and answers to grammatical terms that are closely related. Fill in the blank. This type of test, the student receives a sentence with a blank section within it. The student gets a multiple choice section where he or she has to decide what to choose to fill in the blank. She is so beautiful, she is like an A. Angel, B. Musical, C. Flying. Be careful with this type of question. The word "an" is used before a vowel sound, so this question automatically gives away the answer. Another type of fill-in-the-blank test is that the student gets an answer, such as the verb, but they have to choose the right tense of the verb to fill in the answer. I like to run because it is fun. In this example, the students needs to decide what version of the word fun should be to be filled in the blank. Other tests are not so easy to grade because of teacher biased. Written. In this type of test, the students write a paper or a small paragraph describing something. The problem with these tests is if the teacher doesn't explain to the students what they want for grading. Some teachers tend to be harder on certain students than others. This can be a very hard test to grade because it can vary from teacher to teacher. One teacher can give a student a high grade while another teacher will give the same student a low grade. One question you have to ask yourself: what if a student didn't understand the instructions? Do you fail them or do you grade them on the work they did? So what should you grade a student on a written test? Content. Does the paper have a lot of information? What do you do when a student only writes one sentence? Errors. Does the paper have a lot of grammatical errors? Did it follow your instructions? Did they do what you told them to do? Does it have a lot of words that were taught? Was it well written? This should be what you grade on. Unfortunately, some teachers will grade harder than other teachers, while some teachers have their favorite students and thus give better grades to certain students. Oral. An oral test is based upon the student's ability to speak. You can administer a speaking test by asking the students questions. Since students have been studying, in some cases, for many years, they should be able to speak at a reasonable expected level. I usually have a role play where the students show me that they can speak without the aid of notes or aid from other students. Remember, they have to go to the real world and they cannot take notes with them out there to answer every question asked of them. To grade an oral exam, you should take into account the student's pronunciation. Is it good enough to understand them? The student's lexical ability. Do they know the language enough to speak words that they learned in the class? Can they talk to each other without notes? After all, they had been studying for years, they should know how to speak by now. That is all the time we have for today. I hope to see you again soon.